Hi, everybody. It's Lisa Westcott out of the Scottsdale, Arizona area, and we are here with the wonderful and amazing Richard Silver out of the Sotheby's International Realty Canada Toronto office. Welcome, Richard.
Thanks, Lisa. It's great to be here. We're putting the shoe on the other foot, right?
Absolutely. I figured, you know what? You're interviewing all of us. Someone needs to interview you, so rightfully so. And let's do this. Let's hear you talk about what's going on in your area, your marketing. Sorry about that.
No problem. It comes with the territory. You know what? Our city is quite interesting. We've had huge amounts of building in the past while, so we have a lot of condos, and the condominiums are making up about 50 to 60% of our market right now. Sadly, during coronavirus, access to the condos is very difficult. So we're out there, we can market them, but the buildings, a lot of them have come through with orders to not allow any third parties in. So the best way we can do it is, if it's an owner-occupied suite, is we ask the seller to go through with a camera and do a virtual tour for us. And then we try and do everything else electronically. And we did have one situation where a building inspector would go in, but they had to go in alone. They didn't want the tenant there. They didn't want anybody else there. They took all the precautions and they did the building inspection. So, I mean, business can still happen, but you know, it's a little more difficult with the condominiums.
You know, it's interesting. We are considered in Arizona an essential business.
Yeah.
And I just went to an appraisal at one of my properties, and it's interesting because the bank could not find an appraiser who was willing to work. Have you had that experience at all?
You know what? A lot of the appraisers right now, I would think, are doing almost virtual appraisals. And you know what they've done is they've taken the photos from the property, and then they contact the agent and they want you to sign a document that basically says, here's all the photos, and these photos are in keeping with what we have. I mean, there's nothing to trick you in the photos. In other words, they want us to warrant the photos, and then they'll appraise the property.
And so you've been doing this a long time, and you're always on top of everything and always helping everyone that you can, as far as I know, and since I've known you.
Yeah.
What do you foresee your market doing in the future once this subsides?
Once this lifts, you know what? I think there is definitely going to be a change in the marketplace. I don't think we can get away from it. My worry is, and my experience is, that when the market does change, the people who are first to react handle it much better than the people who wait until the market to come back to where it was. So I'm telling my sellers, be patient. This will pass, but stay on the market. Don't leave the marketplace. There's still lots of buyers around. I've got showings happening tomorrow. I'm showing 3 properties. You know, we're doing waivers to do with COVID-19. We are taking all the precautions. I've got covers for my shoes. I've got gloves. I've got a mask. So we're doing everything we can. And I think that's just the way we'll do it. It's going to be our new normal. It's our new way of life.
Absolutely. And thank you for doing your part. You know, we all have to do our part. We all have to be safe and stay healthy and do what we can. So you brought a good point up when you talked about how you're approaching your sellers and your clients and saying, just be patient and be prepared for when this does lift. What are you doing as a real estate professional to put yourself out there so that when it does lift, you're top of mind? How are you staying connected with your clients? What are you doing?
You know what? Like a lot of us, we don't think we're doing enough. Mm-hmm. So if you were to ask me if I'm doing enough, I'm not doing enough. But I still am out there. I'm trying to connect with as many clients as I can. I'm trying to make sure that they're well and they're healthy and that their families. And I keep on trying to think of people who may have problems, that they may need somebody to pick up some food for them, or they may have you know, I think a lot of people now are ordering food online and they're doing that, but there are still people who are, you know, they've come back from a foreign country. They've come back from being a snowbird, as we call them in Canada. They come back from Arizona, as a matter of fact,
Right.
and you know, they're really stuck in their house for the first 2 weeks. So, you know, with friends of mine, and they came back from Tucson, Arizona. As a matter of fact, I did shopping for them for 2 weeks. So, you know, those are the things you try and do. You just try and see what the needs are, and you know, there's a lot to be worried about with this thing, just because I think there are people who do have a tendency to um, they're so used to socializing. Say they live in a condominium, and they cannot go out and they cannot communicate, and it's a worry enough, you know, with somebody who's older if they were to fall or anything. But even now, it's even more so an issue. I think you have to be really in touch with everybody and just make sure everybody's okay. And I think that will, you know, when the market changes, the market changes. I try not to talk about real estate. I mean, the big thing is, what do you think is going to happen to the market? And you know, I don't have a crystal ball, and I can tell you that, you know, if there is a dip in the market, you know, it will happen, and we'll get over it. It'll come back.
And I think that I think that you make another good point, of course, and that is that we are real estate professionals, but we're family. And
Yeah.
now what's happening is we're becoming not just a real estate advisor, we're becoming a resource for our clients to help them understand what's going on, to help put their mind at ease. Yeah. Richard, anything that you want to say in closing?
I just want to say I wish everybody a very safe few months, and let's get over this as soon as we can, and let's be prepared the next time, because I think it's going to happen again, and I think we're going to be better prepared. So, you know, we will get through this.
We absolutely will. Thank you so much for your time, your expertise. And again, it's Richard Silver out of the Sotheby's International Canada, Toronto office.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And hopefully I'll see you soon, face to face. You never know.
I hope so. We will. And we're going to have a big party.
Yeah, let's. Okay. Thanks, Lisa. Bye-bye.